Most airplanes are built to last 25 to 30 years. After that, they're retired, stripped for parts, or parked forever in aircraft graveyards. But deep inside the United States, an aircraft designed before World War II is still flying regular missions. Not as a museum piece, not as a restored showplane, but as a working aircraft. This plane is over 70 years old. It has survived wars, technological revolutions, and generations of modern jets. And somehow, it's still in the sky. This is the story of the Douglas DC-3. Born in a different world. To understand how unbelievable this is, we need to go back to the early 1930s. Commercial aviation was dangerous. Planes were slow, uncomfortable, and often unreliable. Flying was something only the wealthy dared to do. Then, in 1935, Douglas Aircraft Company introduced something revolutionary, the DC-3. It wasn't just a plane, it was a turning point. For the first time, an aircraft was fast enough to compete with trains, comfortable enough for long flights, reliable enough to fly daily schedules. Airlines could finally make money without government subsidies. The modern airline industry was born. The plane that won a war when World War II began, the DC-3, proved it wasn't just good for passengers. The military transformed it into the C-47 Skytrain. Over 16,000 were built. They carried troops, weapons, purpose. On D-Day, hundreds of C-47s dropped soldiers behind enemy lines. General Dwight D. Eisenhower later said the DC-3 was one of the four tools that won the war. This aircraft didn't just survive history, it shaped it. Why most planes die young? So why are almost all aircraft retired so early? Because metal fatigue builds up, maintenance becomes expensive as spare parts disappear. New regulations make upgrades impossible. Modern jets are complex systems filled with computers and software. Once they become outdated, they're simply not worth saving. So why is the DC-3 different? The secret to its immortality: DC-3 was built in an era of over-engineering. It has thick aluminum skin, simple mechanical systems, no complex electronics engines that can be rebuilt again and again. You don't need specialized factories. You don't need proprietary software. Many mechanics say, if you can fix a tractor, you can fix a DC-3. And that simplicity is exactly why it survived. Still flying in America today is right now. DC-3 South are still operating in the United States. They're used for cargo transport, scientific research, aerial surveying, firefighting support, special charter flights. NASA has even used modified DC-3 South for atmospheric research. In Alaska, some DC-3 South land on ice, gravel, short, rough runways, places modern jets can't reach. Pilots who swear by it, pilots who've flown the DC-3, say something surprising. They don't just respect it, they love it. They describe it as stable, forgiving, and grantic. One pilot said, the DC-3 doesn't hide its mistakes, it tells you what it's doing. In an age of automation, the DC-3 keeps pilots truly connected to flight. How it beats modern planes on paper, the DC-3 should be obsolete. It's slower, it burns more fuel, it lacks modern avionics. But in real-world conditions, it wins because it can operate from almost anywhere. It's cheap to maintain, it doesn't depend on advanced infrastructure. Sometimes, older technology survives because it simply works better. The future of a legend: will DC-3 South fly forever? No. Eventually, parts will disappear. Pilots trained on it will retire. Regulations will tighten. But even when the last DC-3 lands for good, its legacy will remain. Every modern airliner today traces its DNA back to this aircraft. The DC-3 didn't just change aviation. It proved that great engineering can outlive generations. In a world obsessed with what's new, the DC-3 reminds us of something important: old doesn't mean useless. Simple doesn't mean weak. And sometimes, the greatest machines ever built never truly leave the sky. Subscribe, Jet Curious, for more aviation stories that refuse to fade away.